Welcome to the Mach 10 podcast. You bunch of wankers.
I'm going to go off script here a little bit.
Okay.
I was watching a music video for Devil's Water this morning,
Oh, okay.
and the guy goes into the shower in the music video.
Yeah.
And it's Kyle Gruninger, right?
Yeah, it's
Did
Kyle.
you know Kyle?
Yeah, very well.
I've talked to him about being on the show, so he's in Europe right now. So when he
Okay.
gets back, we're going to have him on.
Yeah, no, Kyle's awesome. We did a big tour together, so he's in like musical theater and stuff.
That's right.
And so I was playing guitar on the Queen We Will Rock You tour across North America, and he was part of the cast.
That's right. And were you at the show here?
Yeah.
I was at that show.
Oh,
I
cool.
thought it was fantastic, man. Such a
Yeah,
good
it's
time.
fun. That was a fun time. And Kyle ended up being one of my good pals, and yeah, we hung out after and worked together on a few things. So
That's great.
yeah.
So you are here because we are talking about your third album,
Yeah.
To the River.
Yeah.
Have you heard this album? It's good.
I've
It's
heard
good,
it.
man.
Thank you.
It is awesome. I went into it blind. I went in listening from front to back,
Nice.
not expecting anything. Just, hey, let's just have a listen. And it is so good. It is so good. And as I'm listening through, I'm like, oh man, I want to hear what the next song is. I want to hear what the next song is. And I'm thinking, this is the album that I want to write.
Right.
And then I listened
That's
to
cool.
your last album, A Traveler's Lament.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's the album I want to write. And I just kept on going back in your discography, and I'm like, this guy's amazing, just an
Awesome.
amazing musician.
Thanks, man.
So this new album, nominations already?
Yeah, we actually won an award for Broken Hearts Side for one of the singles on the album at the Country Music Alberta Awards. And then we're just rallying for nominations for the CCMA right now. Yeah, for the album because it's eligible, so that's really cool.
And it seems like a really deeply personal album.
Yeah, I think all my albums are in a lot of ways. It's so neat because it's like I did other music for so long and, you know, things that I liked as well and loved, but not things that I would just write on my own or write for me. And this project has been only that. So I think that there's a lot more, it's just a lot more important to me and a lot more, you know, me. So I definitely take time with it. And yeah, every song on every album is something special for me.
Why did you feel like now was the time to write this album?
I think, I don't know, it just happens naturally usually. I knew that I can kind of sense when it's time to start writing again, you know, when the last album is, you know, done its thing and it's time for more songs. I'm always writing anyway. Like I'm always writing when I'm driving or working or doing whatever.
There's always something in the works.
Yeah, there's you know, it's just what I'm like, I guess. And so I'm always jotting down ideas or voice memos and trying to write the next thing.
It's funny. I do the same thing because I play and I write, and I have a folder on my computer, and it must have like thousands of little clips. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that'd be a great song. That'd be a great song.
Yeah,
And then it's
yeah.
like years later, and I haven't done anything with that little clip.
Yeah.
And then every now and then you're like, oh, I feel inspired to write, and you'll go back to it
Yeah.
and open it up. You're like, oh yeah, that's a great little riff.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn that into something.
I find that too. I find that I go through my voice memos lots and just listen back to what I had jotted down, and it's like, oh no, that's bad. No, that's bad. No, that's bad. And then it's like sometimes there's one that's like, holy, that's great.
I picture you, driving down the highway,
Yeah.
and you're just cruising, and then you see like a rusty truck on the side of the road. You're like, oh my God, rusty truck.
Sometimes it's that simple, and it's funny going back. Sometimes I laugh at myself sometimes because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and like, you know, just mumble something at 2 a.m, like, hey, and then I listen to it a couple of days later. It's like, I don't know what I was trying to say. I don't know what I was trying to sing. This is awful.
Isn't that how Satisfaction was written?
Yeah, that's right.
You
Yeah.
woke up in a dream and you recorded it.
Yeah.
And it's like, biggest hit ever
Yeah.
for him, right? Did you come from a musical family?
Yeah, my dad spent 8 years in Nashville, slogging it out, trying to be a solo artist and songwriter. And my grandparents played and earned a living doing like weddings and that kind of thing, like bars. And they played at a place in Fort St. John called the Red Barn, like every weekend. And they had a ranch up there, and she always had parties and company and friends and family around, and all the gatherings. It was always that, just guitars and country and bluegrass and Western music.
That type of sound has always been your thing. Now
Yeah,
you've gone like, is it country? No, it's more like alt country.
yeah,
Is that that'd be
yeah,
the category, right?
yeah, for sure. I would say even in traditional country times, my music would probably be considered like some alternative country, just because there's fragments of blues and rock. It's kind of, it'd be like in the Eagles, maybe vein, maybe like the band and some nitty gritty dirt band, and then there's heavy stuff though. So I don't know what to call it, but it's just an amalgamation of all the music that I love, and it's just what happens when I sit down to write a song, I guess, and I just try and not get in the way of it.
Yeah, don't try to pigeonhole yourself into a certain
Yeah,
style. Say just write, and whatever
yeah.
happens,
Why would you? I
happens.
mean, I think it's way cooler if you can just, yeah, just be yourself and write what you write, and let people decide what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
With that same sort of train of thought, you have the band, or you had the band, The New Electric, which turned to Crowns, which
Right.
was more of a rock album.
Yeah.
And then you went into your solo career,
Yeah.
right? In sort of the alt country genre. So why that change?
Yeah. It was the first time I'd ever done a solo thing. I'd always been in a band. It actually started with a band called Hard Honey, and that was like, we sounded like AC/DC meets Def Leppard.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good band, really good, and I enjoyed that a lot. Um, it it's funny now that I'm thinking about. I haven't thought about this before, really, but I was writing songs and kind of tracking them in my basement, and I didn't have great production skills or recording skills yet at that point. And it's when I was like, I don't know, really young, like 22 or 3. And and it's funny when I think about that right at this moment, those songs that I was doing by myself in the basement sounded like what I do now, you know? And then I sent these songs to a producer, Matt DiMatteo, who did like Big Rex, Big Record, and a bunch of stuff, and he liked me, and he said that he'd work with me and do some tracking and do some tunes, and so we did this first record, and he we co-wrote all the songs together, and he took it like way more, rock. It was more like, it sounded more like Foreigner, like a modern Foreigner kind of thing. And I liked it, so I just rolled with it because I mean, I was young, and this guy knows what he's
Yeah,
doing, so
exactly.
I'm gonna go with what he says, and then we went even further and made another record down that rabbit hole, and now this one sounds like AC/DC and Def Leppard, and it's like I liked that too. I just like lots of music, so I didn't mind it at the time. What I didn't realize is that I was like, you know, kind of giving away pieces of myself and ignoring like what I started with and who I really was. And then from that it went to, met another producer, big producer, Brian Howes, who did like Hinder Lips of an Angel and stuff. And then he took the band and well, he did all that. He did a bunch of stuff. Anyway, so he took it and we went a lot more pop, like with the New Electric. And then, you know, met another producer named Steve Kosmeniak who does like, Dua Lipa and other crazy large things. And
These are like huge names.
yeah, it's wild. Yeah, no, I've worked with some amazing producers, and to credit them properly, I have learned from them more about life, more about production and music and songwriting, than anyone else in my entire life. These humans like are still my mentors and my very good friends. Um, that being said, that's I'm like 5 projects in and so many records deep, and we're pushing this whole time, and we're, touring and grinding and broke, and it's all really hard. And we had this in Crowns. It was my last band before I shut all that down. We had this crazy opportunity because we had just worked with this huge producer and had this awesome sounding record. And it got to Scooter Braun in LA, and so Scooter Braun was like interested in our band and loved us and was going to bring us down to Coachella and have a showcase for his label and stuff. And
Is that Justin Bieber's?
yeah. Yeah, and so Justin Bieber's manager, and so he got us to we sent our passports so they could book our flights to go down to Coachella. And when he saw our age, because we're like older,
Yeah.
right, than pop kids and playing pop music, he was a pass on that because he likes working with young people. And yeah, I don't know why else, but yeah, and so it was heartbreaking because we were excited about that.
See, I was just going to ask you,
Yeah,
because I would say you're a veteran in the industry. You've been around it a long time. So
right.
when things like that happen, does it really hit hard? And you're like, shit, I really wanted this.
It used to, because I used to put, my musical worth in other people's hands.
Yeah.
And I used to, look to these producers and look to these managers and look to these industry people as my validators for being good enough.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was heartbreaking at the time. And I had worked with my brother. So my brother was in every band with me for 20 years. And we did the whole thing together. And at that point, after that happened and after Crowns happened, I was just so burnt out and so tired of being kicked and dragged through the mud. I was just so exhausted that I needed a break. And so I was like, I just need to stop for a while. Physically, mentally, emotionally, I was just done. And my friend Russell Broom, who plays guitar with me and produces with me now, he was like, dude, I got this thing if you want to do it. It's like this Queen tour, the We Will Rock You thing, and you can go out and, just tour for 6 months and play guitar in the background, make money and have a good time. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So there you go, full circle. That's how I ended up on that tour. And I was writing these songs. The whole time I've been writing my first album, Down Home, I was writing those songs for years. I was always writing these songs in the background away from, my projects and stuff.
You were talking about like producers and you almost sell your soul a little bit because you really trust these guys. And it's important to trust these people because I've met Ian Thornley from Big Rack, and he's an awesome dude, and he's amazing guitar player and just really nice person altogether. But just kind of going back to the producer thing, I was always the type of person that thought I can do all of this myself.
Right.
And then you do hit a plateau where you're like, man, I need help from these other people. And when you're working with these amazing producers, it's the same thing. It's like, listen, these guys have been in the industry a long time, and they may say, hey, I don't like this part of your song, or this is what you should do here. And you're like, man, but I really love that part. And sometimes you have to listen and say, okay, maybe you have the right idea, but at the same time, it hurts because you put your heart and soul into all of your work.
Yeah, it can be tough. I mean, with the songs themselves, I was always okay with that part of it because they were usually right, and sometimes I would realize it later, and I was like, oh, they were right about that. That was a good move. But it wasn't that for me. It wasn't just like the song parts and the production of the songs. It was the songs themselves. It was, we were writing towards a sound, towards a box, towards a laneway that could be successful and really chasing hits and success. And I just, I don't do that now, and it feels way better.
It's like a weight off your shoulders. You could just be you, and you could just
it is.
write what you want to write and kind of go the direction that you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if you think about it, it's like, what were you so excited about music for when you were a kid? What was that? It was literally just so exciting just to play and to like the simplicity of just creating something in itself was enough.
If you go into it with the idea that you're going to get rich and famous and you start chasing money, you are going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, it's out there and there's lots of artists that make big bucks. But if you go out there, in my opinion, with the mindset of, you know, I'm going to make, you know, millions on this tour,
Yeah.
and then you really get into industry and you're like, oh shit, it's actually
Yeah.
really hard to make money doing this. And then you got to fall back to, well, why am I doing this in the first place? It's
Yeah.
because I love it. I love writing. I love
Yeah,
performing.
exactly. It's interesting. And it's like, even when you make a lot of money, your expenses are so high, you know, that it's just, it's a balance. Yeah. You really just you have to love it or you won't stay doing it.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Someone told me it's not about motivation, it's about determination, and that is 100% true because motivation comes in waves,
Yeah.
but when it's on that low side, you got to still be in it and you got
Yeah.
to still be doing it because you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's your writing process like?
Yeah. It's kind of like that motivation wave that you just talked about. For me, it's like when something is just happening in there and I have to do it, like I can't not do it, that's when I write a song. You know? Sometimes it happens immediately, like where, you know, where the idea starts and the voice memo happens and then it's like I can't stop and I just keep going until it's, you know, a skeleton or something like that. And then sometimes, you know, I go back through the voice memos and then be like, holy shit, that's good. And it strikes me in a way where it's like, I have to write that right now. So it's kind of different every time. But I do co-writes with specific people, like friends, Aaron and Lydia in Nashville. And I really like writing with them. I've done lots of co-writes with other people. And I enjoy it for the most part, but you know, lots of the time it ends up songwritery. You know what I mean? Where they're trying to move it in a direction that it can be on the radio or something like that. And I don't like it when that happens. It's kind of a waste of a song for me. But I like writing with Aaron and Lydia because they get me and they just like enhance what I do. And yeah, so when I get that skeleton, I'll bring it to them. And then sometimes it's like starts with a riff, like a guitar riff. Sometimes it starts with a concept. Sometimes it starts with a, you know, a chorus or a melody or something like that. Lots of different ways.
I find for me, yeah, it's the chorus. That's what everyone likes. I start with the chorus,
Man,
and then you got to try and work backwards, and I find that's the hard part.
that's good though. Like choruses are top. Like I am not a chorus guy. I'm a verse and, you know, guitar hook and all those melodies and a concept guy. So I come in with like the concept lots of the time and like, here's the hook. This is where I want to land. This is the idea of the song. This is the whole concept. And then I think I'm writing a chorus, but it's not. It's a verse. And then I need Lydia and Aaron to write the chorus with me.
That's cool, man. See, everyone's got their own process and their own ways of doing
Yeah,
it.
totally. And what you're good at and what your thing is and what isn't. It's good to know that because then you can move faster.
Right. So do you perform with your wife or do you also co-write with your wife?
We've written some stuff together. Not much really though. Like we have 2 kids and Sarah works a day job, and you know, we don't have time to write songs.
Yeah.
She doesn't anyway. She is busy. She has like 4 jobs. Anyway, yeah, so I try and take care of that part of it. But yeah, she's in the band. She tours and sings with us and stuff. So.
How many kids do you have? 2 kids?
2 kids. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
How old?
8 and 3.
Oh, 8 and 3. Okay.
Yeah. So little guys.
And do they go on tour with you?
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they come with us. It's fun. It's a lot, but it's worth it. It's cool. It's so neat to see them just like, I don't know. They feel cool, you know. You can tell.
100%, man.
Yeah.
My son's going to be 13 right away, 13 and 15, and they're both involved with sports. So we are all over the province. Like every weekend we are traveling. We are from
Right.
southern Alberta, right up to northern, into BC,
Right.
but it gets busy. It gets busy, but you know what the thing is? You learn to love it.
Yeah.
And yes, we're tired all the time, and yes, it's another weekend packing to go play a tournament or something, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Wouldn't
sure.
change it for anything in the world.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like a poetic grind, It's becomes like, something you love when you're like forcing yourself to do it and get through it, and doing anything with your kids like that is, I think, awesome.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's the same with music too, right? It's a grind.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a grind, and I don't feel like playing. I don't feel like practicing.
Oh man, for
You know?
me, yeah, when I was a kid, it was like that, but now it's like if I get to grab a guitar off the wall once in a day, I'm stoked because it's just we're so busy,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Just kind of going back to your last album, A Traveler's Lament. That was a huge album for you. Tons of nominations, and you got the 2023 CCMA
Yeah.
Album of the Year.
Yeah. It was alternative country album of the year. Yeah.
Like, that's huge. That's got to
It
feel
was crazy.
That's got to feel so good.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, it's not about the awards. I've talked to other artists, and they say the same thing, but it's always good to feel validated.
Yeah.
You worked really hard.
Yeah.
People are listening to this. People are enjoying it.
That they even care to notice is incredible. And it's all your peers, right? It's all the Canadian country music group, and it's a lot. Like it's overwhelming actually. Like getting up there in front of all those people and speaking is wild,
Kind of get the heart pumping a little bit.
Yeah, like not nervous, but just like overwhelmed. It's a lot of love in that room and a lot of eyes on you, and it's a cool moment. That was awesome. Yeah, that album won 11 awards. It was crazy.
CCMA Award for Alternative Country Album of the Year goes to A Traveler's Lament.
Thanks to CCMA, thanks to my wife and children, to my manager Jeff, to Russell Broom, to everyone who worked on this record. I'm just taken aback, and this community is so welcoming and warm, and I've always just felt love and acceptance from you all, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Did you know that you were going to win that?
No, you have no idea. No, but I gotta tell you something that's wild, and about instinct. It's like the microsecond before they say, and the winner is, every time I know if it's a yes or a no. It's wild. Yeah,
Really?
I don't know why. Yeah, I can just sense it. I can feel it in the room. I can feel it from the person on stage or something. Someone's sending it to me. I don't know, but it's like
you're going to hear your name.
I know I'm going to hear my name or not hear my name. Yeah.
I think you deserved it for that album.
Oh, thanks.
It is a great album.
Thanks.
The songs are like right from start to finish. That's what I love about your music. And you do stay within that. Like every song works.
Right.
There's not one song that's kind of like way out there that you kind of skip by.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I want to listen to this start to finish. And that's hard.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, thank you.
And then you were shortlisted for a Grammy as well.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's unreal, man.
Yeah.
These are huge things.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about it? Do you
Not
ever think to
really.
yourself like, man, I'm with the big players here?
Yeah. You know what's funny is that I don't think about it at all ever. But then when I'm like about to go on stage sometimes and the announcer's like, shortlisted for a Grammy CCMA winner, and starts doing all these things and the crowd's cheering and stuff for me to go on stage, I'm like, holy crap, that's crazy.
But you're like, this is what I worked for.
Yeah.
This is what I worked for, and we're doing it.
I mean, honestly, if I can just, sustain, like, I just want to be able to, earn enough and do enough work to be able to keep doing it, right?
I saw you, I think it was Oxford Stomp.
Oh, cool.
in Calgary.
That was a while ago.
That was a while ago. That was
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Black Crows.
The Black Crows.
That was sick.
Dude, that was the first time I've seen the Black Crows
Me
live.
too.
It was by far
It was
my
crazy.
favorite concert I've ever been to.
Yeah, they were the coolest band I've ever seen. Black Crows and Sheryl Crow were the two best top bands I've ever seen, I think.
I've never seen Sheryl Crow live.
Her band's crazy.
There's almost a misconception when you watch music videos or, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, okay, I might not be into that.
You
kind
got
of
to go
music.
see it.
You gotta go see
Yeah.
it. It's a game changer.
No matter what it is, you can usually, you know, the odds are that if it's a big deal and it's like, you know, a famous artist, that the show is going to be awesome,
Yes.
you know? Man, do you know that the Black Crows, they tour with a giant analog console? Like, so they won't use like the, you know, digital consoles that they have at front of house at all the festivals and all the things. They tour with their own like huge, giant, old analog heavy console, and they have like tape machines on stage that are like, you know, running their guitars through tape back out to the audience. It's wild. Why they sound so good though? It's just like, oh my God, this sounds so good, you know?
It's almost like, why does this sound exactly like
Yeah.
it used to? Because they're using exactly the same
Yeah.
equipment. And nowadays everything's digital.
Yeah.
You want a guitar sound? Plug in. Just download
It's right
it.
there, yeah.
Download a plugin.
And they sound good now. It's crazy. They sound really good now. All the stuff has like gotten to a scary level of like, AI is here, you know?
Totally, man. And you can't tell the difference. And
No.
I challenge anyone.
No, not
I
now.
challenge anyone to say that's analog, that's digital. You cannot.
Not now.
You
Like
cannot tell.
those UA pedals, like Universal Audio pedals.
Yep.
I'm using and I've never, you know, the Kemper, it was good. I was like, this is good, but
Yeah, that was huge when that came out. Everyone
yeah,
was just
yeah.
going
I
crazy
like
over
the Kemper, but it's not quite it. And, you know, I had the Helix on that Queen tour, and I
Yep.
was like, this is like, it's okay, but it's a little fizzy and, you know, fragmenty. But this new stuff, the UA, the Lion pedal that I have, I cannot tell. Because, funny story, when we played last weekend, we were in BC, like Vancouver, Victoria, and Duncan. And I forgot my amp because it was like,
It's kind of a big thing to forget.
yeah, but well, it's not actually. My amp's only this big.
Yeah.
But so I had that Lion pedal on there, so I used that instead, just direct, and I could not tell the difference. So I'm like, I'm not going to bring my amp anymore because this sounds great.
Yeah. All the equipment's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And it's getting better.
Yeah.
And better.
Yeah, it's cool.
You know, although there's something to be said about the old equipment, you know,
Yeah.
you know, the nostalgic feeling. And
You can't
sound.
beat it.
I got a video question.
Yeah.
Kyle, this is Ava, and I'm quite interested in a lot of your music, but I do have a few questions because I do know that you are a singer-songwriter. So I just kind of wanted to know a little bit about the process, about how you do that, and if you get writer's block, and like what your inspiration is when you have that, or what you kind of do in that situation, or if you don't know how to go about like continuing on a song, and if you do necessarily like not put in a little bit of false information in there just because it fits better, or how you kind of go about that.
That's a good question. Sometimes, like, you know, not every single word is going to be exactly true. I mean, some things are metaphors and some things are just around the idea. I think it's really important to just not have boundaries about, you know, this has to be, every word has to be, you know, exactly what happened or true, and trying to, you know, shoehorn something into a space where it's not working. Like, just let it flow, and, you know, don't beat yourself up about, you know, making the song work, because the song needs to work. And I think, you know, writer's block is something that I've never experienced. And I think why is because I don't do that thing where you sit down and write a song every day and like kind of, you know, do it like it's a sport and force yourself to work through a song. It's like I'm pretty lazy with it. You know what I mean? I just do it when I have to, when there's a feeling of like, this is happening right now. This is wicked. And when it's inspiring and great. And if it starts to not feel like that and it starts to feel like work, I set it down and I come back to it.
Right.
Because I just, don't want to compromise, or I don't want to risk the song not coming from a place of like, inspiration and excitement. And then the other thing I will say to answer the question is that, sometimes when I can't get any further on an idea or a song, but I know it's great and I know it needs to be done, I take it to people who can help me. Never be afraid to like ask for help and to co-write, because that's just what you need sometimes. And I do too, lots of the time. There's way better, songwriters than me out there, and people who can, who can write circles around me and just like bang off, who have all the things going in that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't have the things going in that way. I have them in this way. And yeah, just that's my advice for sure. And what I do.
Because if the song turns out great and you're happy with it and it gets the point across of what you were trying to achieve,
Yeah.
what more do you want?
It never matters. It's always, more people is better.
Broken Hearts Hide. That was produced by Vance Powell, right?
Well, no, Vance. So Russell Broom and I produced all 3 of these albums together, and then Vance Powell mixed this album. So that's wild. So that was a really cool thing. So Vance he mixed like the White Stripes, like Seven Nation Army.
That's
and
unreal.
Like he mixed like Beyonce, and he's mixed Pink, and he's mixed all Chris Stapleton's records, and he's a heavy hitter, and I've been a fan of his for so long. And his shit sounds better than anyone's. It just sounds so good.
See, I think I'm half decent at mixing until I hear someone like Vance, and I'm like, man, you suck.
Dude, I know. Well,
you know
what?
Inspired? I don't know if I feel inspired to work harder.
Right.
Or it just like makes me feel like, yeah, shit, I can't do this.
No, man, it was so cool because I got to be on Zoom with him.
Yeah.
And then he had like this program, Audio Movers, where I could hear him mixing through my studio monitors when he was in Nashville and I was in Airdrie.
See, that's crazy. And that kind of brings me to my next question was, social media.
Right.
And not necessarily social media, but the ability to reach people anywhere around the world. It's made mixing, writing, that much easier. Where you could be in one place, he could be somewhere else.
That's how we did my whole record, like with Vance. Not that he needed me there, but it was cool just to get to be there and watch him work, because he's brilliant, and you wouldn't believe like his studio, like all the programs that we use in the box, and all the preamps and the compressors and all the outboard gear. He has it all in real time, like the real gear on a wall. Like his whole wall is just like clones and compressors and distorters and crazy amount of analog gear, and it's all patched, like ready to go on a hit of a button. And he's got an old 80s SSL in there, so he's mixing on all old analog gear, not one thing in the box. And so that's why his ears, his brilliance, the gear that he's got, that's why it sounds like that. Like these things that we use are things that we've created to copy what he's got and what he does, right? So how can you sound as good? It's impossible.
You try to emulate those sounds and you can. Have you ever tried running like all the patch cables to all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. It
sucks.
It's hard.
And if something doesn't work, it's
you're done. Yeah, and you got to figure out which one it is.
Which cable is the bad cable,
Totally.
right? What's the best advice you've been given, and what's a piece of advice that you would give, to an up-and-coming musician or artist, let's say?
I think the advice that I would give is just to take your time. I'm a late bloomer. There's no rush, and just really get to know yourself And yeah, just don't rush anything, and make sure that you trust your gut, and, you know, just love what you're doing. Like, really, really love it. I think that's the key to being happy in music. Whether you're successful or not is, up to you. It's other people don't decide that. It's like, you do. If you feel like you did when you were a kid and you got excited about music, if you feel like that still, then you're doing it right. And I think, what's the best advice I've ever gotten? That's a tough one. I've had lots of great mentors. I think, yeah, again, like Russell, my friend and producer and guitar player there, he always says this all the time. He always says, like, just trust your gut. Trust your gut. He says it casually all the time, and that's it. That's probably the best advice,
It's simple, but
It works.
it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've always said, you could fail at doing something you don't love, so you might as well try doing something that you do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's great advice.
All right. Quick game to finish off here.
Cool.
Little A/B comparison.
Okay.
I'm hoping the last two
Yeah.
are the ones that'll end up being. So we'll see.
Okay.
Beatles or the Rolling Stones?
I'm a Beatles guy.
I am too.
Yeah.
I am too. Huge Beatles fan.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Beatles or Johnny Cash?
That's a tough one. Oh, man. I don't know if I can choose that. I would, you know what? Honoring my young self, I would have to go with Beatles again.
You would?
Yeah.
Didn't think you would.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Okay. All right. This is not going to end up then how I thought. All right. Beatles, Metallica.
Man, this is funny.
You're dividing so many people right now.
Oh, I know. I think that I would have to go with Metallica. They were a massive influence when I was a kid. Like, listening now, if I had to listen to Metallica's music or Beatles, I'd choose Beatles music.
Yeah.
But Metallica had a crazy impact on me and taught me, like, how to play lead guitar way better, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Metallica, Garth Brooks. Brooks in his prime.
Metallica.
Okay. All right. And then let's go Metallica or Chris Stapleton.
Chris Stapleton, hands down. Yeah.
I thought it was going to end up Johnny Cash and Chris Stapleton.
That's pretty cool, yeah. I'm okay with Metallica and Chris Stapleton.
This is a stupid one. I'm like embarrassed to ask.
I like it. Let's go.
There's only one right answer.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Okay. 69 Mustang or Cybertruck.
Oh, 69 Mustang.
I don't even know why I asked you that.
Cybertruck.
All right. This is the hard one.
Okay.
This is the one that's going to divide Alberta
Okay.
or Canada. All right. You ready for this one?
Not again. Okay.
Flames, Oilers, or Leafs?
Oh, no. Man.
Who's taking the cup this year?
Oh, I don't know that. I haven't been paying attention, but I'm an Oilers fan.
You know, Oilers fans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm divided.
Yeah.
You answered. I'm not going to answer.
Okay.
My thing is, as long as the cup stays in Alberta or in Canada, I'm
That's
happy.
good. That's a very, generic answer. Thanks for throwing me under the bus. Yeah. But I just like, I think just being a kid and like my, grown-ups around me just being like fans of like the Gretzky and Messier era of the Oilers.
Absolutely,
and like,
man.
gain a love for them and stuff. So
Listen, Kyle, it has been freaking awesome having you on the Mach 10 podcast.
yeah, man. Thanks for
you're
having
such a
me.
nice guy. I don't want to ruin your reputation or anything, but you're such a nice guy.
Thanks.
I think you've established yourself in not just the Canadian music industry, but in the music industry in general.
That's awesome.
And I
Thanks.
wish you all the best in your professional career. I wish you all the best in your personal life.
Thanks.
And thanks again for being here.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, buddy.
It was awesome.
performing an acoustic version of his song Alberta Save My Soul off his latest album To the River, Kyle McKearney, right here on the Mach 10 podcast.
You can spot a lie best when they're telling the truth. Devil wears a vest and it's bulletproof. Oh, the filthy rich aim to confuse you. Pulling teeth and cutting meat to make their mark. Born in a golden crib, worlds apart. Oh, they show you stitches and abuse you. So take me home to your wild roses, fields of gold and pharaoh horses. Take me back, take me back, take me back, and you've been in my dreams. I wanna be where your Rockies whisper, where your sky owns my heart forever. Take me back, take me back, take me back to swimming in your streams. Alberta, save my soul. Alberta, don't let go. Mother takes advantage of the poor kid next door, lies and gets him put away so hers will get more. Diamonds are charlatan's best friend. You can go to heaven on your daddy's dime, take a little extra from the bottom line. Oh, corruption, cognac, no confessions. So take me home to your wild roses, fields of gold and pharaoh horses. Take me back, take me back, take me back, and you've been in my dreams. I wanna be where your Rockies whisper, where your heart owns my heart forever. Take me back, take me back, take me back to swimming in your streams. Alberta, save my soul. Alberta, don't let go. Take me home to your wild roses, your fields of gold and pharaoh horses. Alberta, save my soul.
The Mach 10 podcast.
This is cool.
Are you ready?